Hello, I'm Jackie. Today I'm telling you a movie about a dog who was hurt deeply and could not bear it. He finally led the army to revenge humans. White God, imagine if all the dogs in the city united to attack humans, what kind of experience it would be. The dogs were so powerful that humans were helpless and can only stay at home and dared not go out. The story started. Daniel was a staff member of the quarantine station. His ex-wife was going out for a few months and gave her daughter Lily to his care. They hadn't been contacted for a long time. Lily had a yellow dog named Hagen. It was her best friend. As soon as she got home, the neighbor said that the mixed breed dog must be excluded, otherwise she would report it. Daniel didn't take her seriously. He didn't let the dog into the room, so Lily had to keep it in the bathroom. Only when he heard her trumpet did he calm down. Lily stayed with him. They slept in the bathtub together. Early the next morning, a police officer came and said that Hagen was a mixed breed, not a purebred dog. If you want to raise this kind of dog, you must pay taxes, or you can only send it to the animal detention center. Daniel was very angry. This dog was bought by his ex-wife. He would not pay a penny for it. Lily took Hagen to the music class and locked it in the cabinet. Everyone was practicing attentively. The dog suddenly went out of the cabinet. The teacher was very angry and asked Lily to get the dog out. But she left the classroom with Hagen instead. Adolescent always behaves the way they want. The teacher was so angry that he swung hands. Two father and daughter had a big fight because of the dog. Lily also shouted at her father for not having sympathy. The father was so angry that he abandoned him on the side of the road. Watching Lily's car drifting away, the dog now was a stray dog. Vehicles passing on the street could kill it any time. Wandering all around without a home, it came to the butcher's shop for food. Here it met a female white dog. The two moved their ears, eventually befriend each other. There were many wild dogs here, but Hagen was not welcomed. Their barks caught the butcher's attention. The butcher wanted to catch Hagen and turn him into dinner. If the white dog hadn't bitten the butcher, Hagen might die that night. The white dog ran away with Hagen to a place where wild dogs gathered. Many dogs were and weren't loved. This was where they can have their freedom. The next day, people at the animal shelter came to catch wild dogs. Hagen and the white dog ran away. They rushed to a little girl's room and escaped from the employees. Finally, it was caught by a homeless man. He tied it up and sold it to the restaurant owner. Many dogs were tied here too. Then Hagen was sold to a dog training guy. After taking the sleeping pills, he fell asleep and taken to a hidden place. That guy had it drink some milk, made it think that he was a good person. But the next day, he put on a mask and started beating Hagen. He used meat to stimulate the dog's wildness and forced it to exercise to build strength. This was to train it to become a vicious dog. Then, Hagen was stunned again. His teeth were sharpened like nails. That guy nailed the pork belly to the floor and trained Hagen's bite force. He put on black clothes to stimulate and made it showed its anger. The guy soon took Hagen to participate in the Dog King tournament. People around had already placed their bets. After the competition, Hagen won the championship. Seeing the black dog was killed, it couldn't feel any happy. The casino owner wanted to buy Hagen to make money. Of course, the guy disagreed. When the two sides were arguing, Hagen escaped and had its freedom. Wanted to live as a wild dog, but the bumpy path it had suffered had made Hagen resentful. Hagen returned to the old ruins, and the white dog was also here. There used to be a group of wild dogs, but now there were only two of them. They came to play by the river, and were by the people at the animal shelter. Seeing that Hagen was seriously injured, the doctor thought that no one would adopt it, so she kept it in a separate room. Tom and Jerry was played on TV. The dogs watched it attentively, they were very interested. Hagen accidentally saw that those aggressive dogs with serious injuries were euthanized. In the shelter, the other dogs were excited to be fed every day, but Hagen had no appetite at all. The flame of resenting against humans was rising higher and higher. In the meanwhile, Lily got up at midnight. Regardless of her dad's objection, she went out to find Hagen. She posted a lot of lost pet posters regardless of the rain and wind. This city is so big, and the dog doesn't have a phone. Where can I find it? She even came to an animal shelter, but it was nowhere to be found. Losing her only friend, Hagen, the teenager Lily became rebellious. She often made a fuss with her music teacher. Her father didn't care about her. She went to a bar with a group of friends, and got arrested. The father rushed to the police station and saw his daughter. He finally understood her and promised to adopt another dog. But she said she didn't want to have a dog anymore. Lily gradually felt better and got along with her father. Her father also appeared at Lily's performance. At the animal shelter, many people came to adopt dogs. Hagen, being resentful with humans, almost bit someone. Seeing this terrible scene, the doctor decided to euthanize it. The male colleague wanted to lock Hagen. All the dogs in the cage barked. As soon as he opened the cage, Hagen took the opportunity to escape and stared at him murderously. He wanted to hit the dog but got attacked immediately. Then, the dogs in the cage rushed out like a scourge. The doctor was standing opposite, and Hagen rushed over. The doctor was frightened and fell. The whole dog army attacked the city. Hundreds of dogs rushed into the crowd. A young lady managed to hide in the car, but she was still scared to tears by the dog. The bit when they saw humans, they also snatched food. The traffic was paralyzed. The bustling streets now belonged to the dog army. Running every direction with freedom, daring to break through, they eventually occupied the entire city. When the dog army came to the music performance site, Lily guessed that her best friend might be there. Regardless of everyone's prevention and the danger of life, she ran away to find Hagen. She rode her bicycle on the highway. The street had never been so deserted. There was no person to be found, like the end of the world. Soon, the dog army rushed behind Lily. Thankfully, they did not want to hurt her. She still got scared and fell to the ground. Hagen found the owner of the restaurant before it led the army to kill the owner. The police began to encircle the dog in the tunnel. The front was too dangerous. Hagen dragged his teammates back and led everyone to retreat quickly. Then, two dogs ambushed and waited for the opportunity to follow Hagen's order and suddenly attacked. Hagen came back to the trainer man showing its grin. This was its revenge time. Even the ant who reported to the animal shelter before was also tragically prevented. The police had been encircling the dog army. Hagen began barking to attract the attention of the police. The army suddenly rushed in from the opposite. The police force had to hide on the ground and did not dare to resist. Lily came back home and found that everything was a mess. She realized that Hagen was leading the dogs to fight against humans. Whoever harmed Hagen would be killed. The next victim might be her father. Thinking of this, she immediately rode to her father's place to tell him. Seeing her daughter outside, the father was very anxious. This little girl still didn't give up on finding her good friend Hagen. The father was anxious about death. Hagen came here with the army. After a few months, Lily finally found Hagen. But now Hagen hated humans. I didn't recognize Lily anymore. It approached Lily step by step. It would never play picking up sticks with her again. Seeing the dogs rushing over, Lily immediately ran away. But where could she go now? Her father took the tank and wanted to rescue his daughter, but the door card couldn't be opened at this moment. Hagen's dog army reached near Lily. She was so frightened that she cried and kept calling her father. Fortunately, although Hagen looked furious, he didn't mean to attack Lily. The father took the gas tank and rushed out. All the dogs started barking. The person Hagen wanted to revenge was Lily's father. What should she do to resolve hatred? Suddenly Lily took out the trumpet from her bag and played the tune that she often played for Hagen to soothe it down. Hagen remembered that Lily was its best friend. It sat on the ground obediently looking at Lily. Other dogs were also affected and sat down and stopped attacking humans. Lily also put down her trumpet and lay on the ground. Now, human and dogs had reached a reconciliation. At the end of the movie, after seeing this scene, the father also came to his daughter and lay down. The battle between men and dogs came to an end. This movie is called White God. Everything has influence, and dogs are also part of human life. If you have a dog, please treat it well. Treating dogs well is also treating humans themselves. Don't forget to like and follow Jackie to meet in our next video.